Greetings and welcome back to another fragrance video and another fragrance list. So having in mind that springtime is fast approaching, I decided to record this video and give you my recommendation of 5, in my opinion, excellent springtime fragrances. And I already did something similar for winter fragrances, and if you're interested in that one, link is in the description of this video. But today we will be talking about spring fragrances. And how I decided to make this video, I will essentially list the fragrances starting from the least expensive to the most expensive fragrance. Now, does this mean that the most expensive fragrance is the best one on this list? No. In my opinion, whichever fragrance you choose, I think it will work excellent in the springtime. But just please make sure to test it on your skin first to make sure it works for you. And also, I base these prices on prices I can acquire these fragrances in my home country of Serbia. So in your country, maybe the prices are different, but I only know the prices in Serbia, so I will stick with those. Now, let's start with the first fragrance and the least expensive one on this list, which is also the sweetest one on this list. It is from the house of Versace, and it is their Blue Jeans fragrance. Now, this fragrance is very sweet because of the presence of the floral notes. So there are a lot of floral notes in this fragrance, which make it very sweet, but also soapy. So it's a soapy floral type of fragrance. It is very good for the springtime. Also, I really like the smell of this fragrance because, I don't know, it just reminds me of my childhood. Somebody, I guess when I was a child, used to wear this fragrance, and it just reminds me of my childhood, and I really do enjoy this fragrance. And in my country, you can find this for around 26 euros, an excellent cheapie for the springtime. And the next fragrance on this list comes from the house of Armani, and it is their Armani Très Nuit fragrance. Now, if I have to describe this fragrance, it's essentially spring in a bottle because it smells very green and very fresh. Now, it's not really a surprise that it smells this way because this is a clone of one of the best niche fragrances for spring. It is, of course, a clone of green Irish Tweed from the house of Creed. But because I don't have that fragrance in my collection, I decided to list this one instead. And it is a very good, very mass appealing fragrance. I like to wear this in the office, and I did get a couple of compliments from my coworkers while wearing this fragrance. So if compliments are important to you, this is an excellent choice, especially considering the price. In my country, you can find this fragrance for around 30 euros, an excellent choice for the springtime. And the third and final designer fragrance of this list comes from the house of Giorgio Armani. It is their Acqua di Gio Profumo fragrance. Now, this is, in my opinion, one of the best fragrances from the house of Giorgio Armani, or at least it was, because unfortunately this fragrance has been discontinued, which is a shame. Now, how does it smell? Essentially, it smells like a more mature, grown-up version of the original Acqua di Gio fragrance. Why? Because they added patchouli and incense to the base of the fragrance, and because of that, it's a bit more dark, a bit more grown up. Now, even though it's discontinued, I think you can still find this on some online fragrance stores. In Serbia, you can find this fragrance for around 100 euros for a 125 milliliter bottle. Now, if you're somebody who likes to wear suits, who works in the office, who is a businessman, I think this fragrance is very appropriate for you. Try to find it, and you will be very pleased when you find it and finally test the fragrance out. And now we're entering into the niche fragrances, and the fourth fragrance on this list, it is from the house of Killian, one of my favorite niche houses, and it is their Vodka on the Rocks fragrance. Now, unfortunately, as of recording this video, I don't have it with me because I borrowed it to a friend, but trust me, I do have this fragrance in my collection. You will see some B-roll footage of this fragrance. Now, I think this fragrance smells like the name of the fragrance. Vodka on the Rocks is a fresh, cold and slightly green smell in the background. Why? Because of the presence of aldehydes and ambroxan, which combined make this fragrance smell kind of cold. Now, I know it kind of sounds silly to say that something smells cold, but trust me, try this fragrance out and I think you will understand what I mean. Now, one thing I want to mention, this fragrance does not really have that good of a longevity. So I think this fragrance, you really have to test it out on your skin and make sure it's worth it for you because it's a bit more expensive. And in Serbia, you can find this fragrance for around 180 euros for 50 milliliters, which I think is an okay price if you enjoy a smell such as Vodka on the Rocks. But overall, I think still it's a good fragrance for the springtime. And the last fragrance on this list, the last niche fragrance on this list, comes from the house of Roger Parfums, and it's their Roger Parfums Scandal Parfum Cologne fragrance. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection, at least when it comes to niche fragrances. Essentially, this is a modern interpretation of a classic fougere fragrance. The note of lavender is the most dominant note in this fragrance, and it lasts from the very opening to the dry down of the fragrance. It smells very well. It's a very well made fragrance, and it smells very natural. So because it smells very natural, there is something interesting about it. So if I apply this fragrance, and I usually apply it on my neck, when I go outside during springtime, when a lot of insects are flying around, you will get a couple of them on your neck or wherever you apply the fragrance. So to be more specific, bees really like this fragrance. So if you're allergic to bees, or if you don't like insects, maybe this is not a good choice for you, because you will have a couple on your body wherever you apply this fragrance. So just be careful. But if we disregard that fact, I think Scandal is an excellent, very well made springtime fragrance for a man. And that's it. Those are my recommendations for 5 amazing springtime fragrances. Now, are these the best? Absolutely not. There are a lot of springtime fragrances. For example, I don't know, Prada L'Homme, Invictus Acqua, but I chose these 5 because I think they are a bit more unique, a bit more specific than something as generic as Invictus Acqua. So also, I want to mention, I already made a couple of reviews, in-depth reviews of these fragrances. Links will be in the description of this video. And of course, if you like this list, leave a thumbs up. If you dislike this list or this video, leave a thumbs down, and maybe give me some suggestions on how I can improve my content. And leave a comment in this video suggesting your 5 picks for the springtime, and maybe give me a suggestion for another list of fragrances you would like me to record. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more wristwatch or fragrance related videos. And until next time, guys, have a great day and bye.